Hello and welcome to another lesson on Sheets 101. Today we are going to be looking at how to organize our Google Drive and keep a nice clean file system. Now this is going to be beneficial for you for a number of reasons, but first I just wanted to kind of give you a little analogy here. Whenever we are dealing with a digital filing cabinet such as Google Drive, it's good to think of it and compare it to physical spaces. So in our physical spaces, like a bedroom, we need to tend to them frequently to keep them looking nice and orderly. And on the picture on the left would be, the messy room with clothes on the floor. We typically try to avoid this in our lives. And whenever we are changing clothes, folding clothes, and so on, we have a special place that we keep it so to keep our bedroom and our lives stay nice and tidy, like on the right here. Now, if you were to extend this to our digital space, the equivalent of having a messy bedroom would be going into Google Drive and not filing away your new documents and just having them all over the place, all over the floor of your Google Drive. Now, the reason that I want you to keep this in mind is because when you go to find, say, your sweaters, you know exactly what drawer they're going to be in and so on. So when you show up to a meeting and you say, okay, I have this spreadsheet, but it's just laying somewhere in the floor in this mess of my Google Drive, it's going to be a lot harder to find than if it was in the specific drawer that you had set up beforehand. So using this idea and going forward, our learning intention with this lesson is going to be to navigate Google Drive, create new folders, and file important documents away so that you can find them when you need them. That's the goal of this lesson. All right. Now, why do we take time to do this? Have you ever been unable to find a document in Google Drive? I know this has happened to me. The search function doesn't always work great, so we need to have a reliable system to find documents that we create. So if this has happened to you, the bad news is that it is most likely your fault. However, there is a good news. With a few simple steps that we're going to look at today, you will know exactly where your files are. You will be able to make your meetings, your collaborations, and your life in general so much easier. So let's look at what these steps are. I've got 5 of them laid out here. We are going to create every new file that we make through the Google Drive application. That's the first step. We are going to locate or create a folder where we want to have it stored. We're going to create our new spreadsheets by using the blue New button that we looked at in the last lesson to create new spreadsheets. Again, this extends to Google Slides, it extends to Google Documents, and so on. But since this is Sheets 101, we're dealing mainly with spreadsheets. We're always going to title our document. That's step 4. And then the last step is to share with any relevant individuals who you might be collaborating with. If we do these 5 things right away when we create our documents, we're going to have a nice, tidy Google Drive, a nice, clean bedroom, and it won't be something that we don't like stepping into. Okay, so let's look at some reasons to do it this way. Why do we do it this way? When we start all of our sheets from Google Drive, we can preload all the organizational steps. All right, so it gets the organization out of the way right away. It forces us to use Google Drive more, and the more we use it, the more investment we'll have in it, the more likely we're going to learn it better and to keep it organized. It also means, especially with test step 4 here, that Google Drive does not become a burial grounds for untitled documents. I went through and just counted up how many untitled documents I have in mine own personal Google Drive in the base layer, and it's actually sort of embarrassing. I probably have like 50. So by doing all 5 of these steps, we're going to know how to find our files, we're going to have them labeled and named, and we're going to have them shared right away with the right people. Okay, so let's look at how to do this. And what we're going to do is I do it, you watch me, and then you're going to try to do this yourself and create your own. So again, I'm going to jump over to a Chrome browser. This one's already preloaded with Google Drive, but just to show you one more time, the best way to get there is to make a new tab, click the waffle bar, and go to Drive. When we enter Google Drive, this is called our base layer. This is sort of like the big filing cabinet spectrum. okay? And then when we create folders within Google Drive, we're making different cabinets that we can store stuff in the larger filing cabinet. You can see that I have a number of different folders in my base layer. If I expand this right here, oh, now Google Drive isn't loading. Okay, sorry, my internet cut out there, but so this is what my Google Drive looks like when I first log into it. This is my base layer, and you can see I have all these different folders in here that mean different things to me. Now, if you want to, you can color code these folders if that's something that you're into, or if you want some to make, if you want to make them jump out or stand out in some way, by right-clicking and then going to change color. Now I just do this for a few that I use often, like I make this one red because I go to that one a lot. It makes it a little easier for me to find it. In this case, what I want to do, and I've already done this, but I'll just show you how to do it, is we are going to create a folder in our base layer of our Google Drive called Google Sheets 101. You can see I already have that folder in my drive, but if you wanted to make this in your drive, you would go to New, Folder, and then it's going to prompt you to enter in a folder name. So I'm going to call this Google Sheets 101 Practice. Okay? I'm going to click Create, and it shows up right here in my folder. So again, my base Google Drive, this is the big filing cabinet, and then each of the folders within it we can think of as different drawers within our filing cabinet. So I just made a new drawer called Google Sheets 101 Practice. All right, now let's hop back over to our steps. We went to Google Drive. That's the first thing. We're going to create every file through that. We located the folder we want to have it stored in. Okay, so we found our folder, and then we're going to click New Spreadsheet once we open that folder and title the spreadsheet. Okay, Google Sheets Practice, I'm going to open that up. There's nothing in it because I just made it. And now I'm going to go New Google Sheets Spreadsheet. All right, and it creates an untitled spreadsheet. If I go back to the folder that I was just in and I refresh this page, it should have an untitled spreadsheet in it now. Maybe I need to title it first. Oh, it hasn't. My internet's being slow today. I think that's the problem. All right, so I'm going to call this My Gradebook. All right, I double-clicked on the untitled part. I put in the new text and I hit Enter. And now I have renamed this sheet My Gradebook. Now if I go back to this folder, we can see in my drive in the Google Sheets folder, I have this document called My Gradebook. All right, jump back to our steps. We've gone to Google Drive, we've made our folder, we've opened the folder and created a new spreadsheet. We gave that spreadsheet a title, and now we're going to share with any relevant individuals by clicking the blue icon in the upper right that says Share. Right now it's only shared with me, and we'll look at how we can share this with other individuals in the future. And I don't actually want to share this with anybody, but that's how I would go about doing that. Now let's say I come back a week from now and I want to find that spreadsheet that I made. I can either search for it in my drive, which as you may know is not very reliable, or I can remember, okay, I know I put it in my Google Sheets 101 folder, boom, there it is. Very easy, simple to remember how to find those things. And again, the more we use it, the more we'll understand our filing structure and system. Okay, so the next thing that I want you to do is to go ahead and do this all for yourself. I want you to log into your Google Drive. I want you to create a new folder called Sheets 101. And within that folder, I want you to make a new spreadsheet called My Gradebook. And then you can go ahead and share that with my email address if you'd like, or share it with someone else or your own, just to get in the habit and practice of knowing how to share things. Okay? Now, what other ways might we organize? So the folder structure in our drive is really dependent on our needs. And for me, I have a folder called My Classes, and then I have the different periods laid out, and I can put my PowerPoints and my assignments in those folders. Maybe you're not a teacher, maybe you have different projects that you're working on within the district, so you can make a folder structure set up like that. Maybe you work with a number of different programs within the district, and you want to have one, say, for within care and treatment, I want to have a different folder for each of the program sites that I might visit. So again, the folder structure varies by need, and hopefully you have a good grasp of how you might design a folder structure for yourself. It just needs to make sense to you so that you use it and understand it. The last thing that I want to talk about, and I'm actually going to make a whole separate little video about this, but just so you know, it will be available to you, is you may have been using Google Drive and you may have been creating documents for a while now without doing any organization. And there are still a couple easy ways to organize our Google Drive after the fact. So if you are interested in that, I'm going to try to link it in this YouTube video, and then you can go ahead and watch that. And if you're in the Moodle, you should be able to find this right underneath this video lesson. All right, so thanks for listening today. Go ahead and try to make your own spreadsheet and file it away in your Google Drive. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Thanks for listening.